What is going on, RotoGrinders? This is Card Stock After Lock. I'm your host, Dean 78904. That's how you know me in the DFS circles. Of course, this is not a DFS-centric show. We use pieces of that, elements of that for sure, but we're talking sports cards. Today, more specifically, we're talking moments, I guess. NBA Top Shot, usual suspects, the Three Musketeers, as Tambo likes to call us. Tambo, we're talking Top Shots. Welcome to the show.
What's happening, Dean? Yeah, excited to be back. We're going on our little flip-flop here. We're back to Top Shot, and I think a lot to talk about. I know Will's going to bring up some certain topics, and we'll go into them and dive in. But like you said, trying to tie it all together with everything that we do, whether it's in the physical card world where we're playing with PSA and the graded cards and whatnot, and then now tying it back in with some of the DFS and fantasy stuff. I know today we're going to link up and talk about off-season and where the market is now and all these things, try and tie them together for people to see what we can come up with.
Will, Chief Justice, welcome to the show as well. Will, yeah, is the sky falling? What's going on here with every time that the market, when it opens back up again, I fire up, I see my collection of moments at NBA Top Shots. They seem to be plummeting. Should I be panicking? Should I be buying? What kind of market are we looking at right now?
Well, I mean, look, if you were to ask me right now, first of all, thanks everybody for joining us. We're going to be alternating every other week. So cardboard 1 week, Top Shot the next week. I just think that's the right way to go right now with the collectible space on fire. Look, I think it's a buyer's market right now. And I know there are some people that are probably ready to just jump out of the boat and get their life raft and head on back to shore. I'm still a believer in Top Shot. Obviously, some of the profit potential that we saw possibly early on is not going to be or wasn't going to be sustainable. But I think as everything normalizes, we're still going to have a chance to have a really good time with Top Shot. So I'm really not worried. Obviously, I know people are, they don't want to see, they want to sell their moments for, 5 million X, but that's just not realistic. I've got some ideas that I think could help Top Shot that we could transfer over from the cardboard space. And while they're not completely comparable in terms of NFT to cardboard, I think from a collectible standpoint, I've got some ideas that I think would make Top Shot even more impressive. So I'm excited about this show, man. Definitely ready to kick it off. Obviously, we always want to talk about our sponsors, and that's Sports Card Investor. Head on over to sportscardinvestor.com, get access to their brilliant, beautiful market movers tool. Our good friend of the show, Jeff Wilson, runs that platform over there. And basically what it gives you, man, is just real-time access to card prices, trends, you name it, it's over there from a cardboard perspective. Promo code GRINDERS, that's going to get you 20% off your first month or 20% off for the year. Always recommend the year, man, because it just gives you so much more bang for your buck. One hitter quitter, and then you're in there researching and picking up anything you need. So I'm excited for the show today, man. Top Shot is still booming, I think, even though the prices are dropping. And let's get to it.
By the way, you mentioned our sponsor, also, who are not sponsored. We're not sponsored by Top Shot. Just in case people are curious, people are wondering. We can shoot from the hip if we want to, Tambo. But of course, there are people that aren't necessarily sponsored by Top Shot, like on Twitter. But people have their own personal interest to pump it up and pump up interest and all that. And I guess you can kind of sort of whatever. But like we are invested to various degrees here. But just want to make it clear, we're not sponsored by them. They're not paying for us to throw the show on there.
Yeah.
So Tambo, feel free to say
we don't get any Jacob packs.
Yeah, we don't get any influencer packs anyway. But aside from that, to your point there, Dean, like that's for me, I'll be straight up with it because when it comes down to it, like there's still a couple things that stand out to me. One is you can still be bullish long-term. Like look at what we just had as investors. Michael Jordan's putting his money into the mix. There's a lot of good and positive things that we could talk about that I think are good for the future. But I think just what's happening with the market leveling off right now and everyone seeing that their moments aren't worth 10x of what they put in, that's okay. Like that's what it's supposed to be. The market is still very popular. There's still a lot of people that are yet to even get their money on because they're waiting to hear about how easy are these withdrawals going to be for me. Well, if I can get easy access to get my money back when I want it, maybe I'll put more on. So a lot of people assume that that's a bad thing. I think it's actually a good thing. There's a lot of positives to talk about in that sense. And then also, I think you can be like I said, you can be a bear and still be a bull. Like if you think right now was the time to get some of your money out, and that's what I sort of did, look for some opportunities. I'm sitting on some Dapper, waiting to find some things to buy. And we're going to talk about some of those things today and what maybe is the smart play. But I think people just got to stop looking at it like a market completely in the sense of I only am in this to make money. Because that's where the problem lied the whole time. It's a collector's market. Like, I'm not going to do this challenge because I'm going to lose $100 on the back end, and it's only a serial number lottery at that point. And all that, like, you're collecting it or you're not. If you're in it for investing, that's okay. But then you have to understand that where else can you go invest and get those type of returns and expect them to hold? Almost nothing in life gives you that opportunity that people had out of the gate with this. So it's got to, take it with a grain of salt, but you definitely got to be smart about what you're doing and have a plan if you're going to be in it just for investing only.
A couple questions, Will, you bring up, and you mentioned it kind of, it's topical because I went after the Jokic cool cat. I'm a big fan of Jokic, one of my favorite players in the league. LeBron, Jokic, that's basically 1-2. That's kind of sort of where I'm at right now. And you're right. The price is plummeted after, by the way, I lost this. I think I got 4,900 or like 6,200. That's not good. I didn't not get an investor serial number either, unfortunately, or influencer, I guess you can say. But what is the best way to handle that? Just accept that you're going to lose money on the back end of that, unless, of course, you hit the serial lottery. Do you not recommend doing the challenges? The challenges are fun. And that's the other part of it too. And in theory, you're supposed to like invest and make money and have fun with it too. But is that something you went after yourself? Do you pick and choose as far as the challenges there, Tambo?
Yeah, I would pick and choose. Like that's where people are just so lost right now. And that's everyone's looking for this to be the biggest stock market and sports thing, collectibles in the world, and put your $100,000 in and flip it to $1 million. That's not even what it's about right now. Like collect. If you like Jokic and you think that he's going to be good and you want to have his thing, like someone said in the chat about, it's Project 2020. That's a great example. I actually loved, I got I posted on my Twitter a couple weeks ago. You can follow me at Totag and Tam. Go back and find it. I collected every single Griffey card. You know why? Because I love Griffey. When I grew up as a kid, I loved Ken Griffey. I wanted his cards. I thought, hey, I got some downtime. The year 2020, what a way to remember it. It's been one hell of a year in the wrong way, that maybe I'll get a little something that I'm just getting back into sports cards that sort of revamped me and got me back into that. And now it's been great. And I've been able to make money in it as an investor and flipping things and doing all that. But at the same time, I've also been able to enjoy the hobby. My daughter is 4 years old, turned the other day. I'm able to show her the card. Daddy, you got more cards coming to the door. People are losing this aspect of it. And that's what I find is one of the biggest problems out of the gate here is like, it's a collector's game. They're giving you some fun challenges. There was nowhere when you signed up for your Top Shot account that said, sign up here to make $1 million. That's not what they said. Sign up here to collect these things. If you don't like the prices and you don't think the market's where it's at and you're in it only to make money, then it's not for you. It's probably time to get out. But for me, Dean, I collect what I want to collect, and I look for spots to buy things that I think will appreciate. But then that's the other thing. Appreciation takes time. It's not today, buy it today, and in 3 weeks, and then what? You know what I mean? You're supposed to be hanging on to some of these things, and we haven't even got to the utility factor that so many people leave out. So I'll leave it up to Will maybe to talk about that. But, you said you got some ideas, Will. I would ask you this. One, what are some of the ideas? And then two, what about the utility factor in the future when this stuff becomes more valuable in a sense of gameplays and things like that, like hardcourt they're talking about? I'm not sure how much you followed of that, but there will be the ability to use these things in another way than just have them sit in an account that you're hoping makes you money.
Well, first of all, let me say this. I think, and I'm going to kind of start with my ideas. I'm going to cover my perspective on the market, and then I'll get to that. So hopefully everybody's good. But I think in terms of the market, just kind of if you look at it, there was no way the market was going to stay that hot, right? Like eventually, it had to come crashing down. Like even on our last show, when we had LG on, he talked about the fact that, look, there's got to be crappy moments, right, in the market to attract new investors. Like if you want to get your favorite player, like you need to be able to go and pick up a cheap Kyrie moment, right? Like all Kyrie's moments can't be 200, 300, 500, just like in regular cards. If you buy Panini Prism, if you pick up a Kyrie rookie Prism, well, obviously that's going to be the most coveted one. But you can pick up a Kyrie Prism from Boston. You can pick up a Kyrie Prism from from later in Cleveland. You can pick up a Kyrie Prism from the Nets, but it's never going to be worth more, right, than the rookie. But if you're buying packs and it's a guy that you like to collect, you're still going to be fine, right? There are tons of prices on eBay, and I always talk about this, where the cards that aren't as important, 99 cents, $2.99, that gives the market stability, right? Like you need that in order for the card market to sustain. If every time you bought a pack of Panini Prism, it was all Luka rookies, then Luka's rookie card wouldn't be worth as much if it comes back as a PSA 10. It's just not going to happen if every time you pick up a pack. And so I think it's the same thing with Top Shot. Yes, it came out on fire because a lot of people weren't involved on the front end. And so if you were involved on the front end, in my opinion, that was your biggest opportunity, right? If you wanted to kind of get ahead of the field and you said, hey, I want to make a few dollars up front, but I still want to collect, right? The time to do it was when nobody was looking at it. When you could buy it, when you could just walk in the store or walk in their virtual store and buy a pack anytime you wanted to. That did exist prior to all the signups, right? We're aware of this. You could literally go to NBA Top Shot and buy as many packs as you wanted. Now, let's compare that to cardboard. Like I said, everything isn't going to be completely comparable, but let's look at cardboard now, right? If you go in any Target right now, they're giving you a limit on you can only buy 3 boxes. So the card market is just as hot, but we're not frustrated with the card market. When you go in Target, they say you got to be here at 8 a.m. on Friday, and if you're not here at 8, you're going to miss out, and you can only get 3 boxes. They're not letting you go in and load up the cart and carry it out to your car anymore, right? This is what's happening in cardboard if you haven't been following it. Guess what? The same thing is happening in Top Shot. How is Top Shot kind of replicating what's happening? You go to a drop and there's only 25,000 packs, 40,000 packs. And if you're lucky enough to get a pack, hooray, right? But then you also see when I get my number 216,000, I already know, just close my computer. The same as if I walk to Target. If I know if I get to Target at 10 o'clock on a Friday, I might as well walk back to my car because there's no way I'm going to be able to pick up any of the cards that I want, which would be Prism, Donruss, whatever, right? That's the thing. So what I think Top Shot has to do, and this is where I'm going to get into some of my ideas, I think some of the rare moments may have to get more rare. And what I mean by that is this, right? Panini is successful because they've got tiers of things you can buy. Top Shot is going to be successful because they have tiers of things you can buy. But at some point, we're going to have to get some one-of-ones, some one-of-fives, right? It's going to have to get more and more rare, I think, so that the market can kind of continue to separate itself. Because right now, if you pull up, we don't have to screen share right now, Devin. I'm just talking. But, if you pull up some of the rares, right, or some of the hollows, obviously those are going to be the most expensive ones. But you can also pick up, something that might be in a rookie debut that's comparable, not quite the same, kind of like how Panini has National Treasures, but then they've also got Immaculate, but then they've also got Flawless. And while they're similar, National Treasures is still the big boy, no matter how you slice it, right? And so that's what I think Top Shot has to do. I think at some point they're going to have a moment that only one person has. And I think that, and while that seems like it creates so much more of a gap, that's what happens in the cardboard space, right? And that's what makes the cardboard space interesting. That's why you want to buy into, that's why people want to buy into National Treasures breaks when they can't necessarily get their hands on it, because they want the one-of-one. They want the Zion logo man. They want all of these other additional products, right? And so I think that's one of the things that they have to do, have moments that are just really unique to one person. And I think that's going to help strengthen the market. Obviously, they'll get back to a point where everybody can mostly buy packs. But I think right now they're trying to do it the right way and build up the base so that things can continue to push forward. Trying to get rid of bots. I think those are some of the good things that they've done along the way. And I'm going to shut up now, Dean, and let you hop in here.
Well, I just want to throw out the Tambo. Tambo, you are CEO of Top Shots right now. Do you green light that? Do you red light that?
I was just going to chime in real quick there. Yeah, not to cut you off, but there already is. That's coming. So the Genesis set is a one-of-one of each of the 100. I believe it's 150 first-minute moments that's going to come out. And then these are going to be for auction only. And then the other one, I believe, is the Genesis set, which is out of 3, which will definitely be a big thing for sure. So, someone brought that up. you mentioned it too there about the Luka stuff. Someone brought up in the chat, and that's sort of why you saw the Luka cards, just flipping it back to cardboard for a second, why those just popped. He hit that 3-pointer, the game winner in the playoffs. The card went up to, I believe it was like 2,500 or something, and then dropped right back down. Now you can get it for 1,400. People started to realize, and again, this is just like any market, guys. There were so many people that were back into the card space, physical card space, only to make money. They started to realize that pop count might actually be a thing. And now you can relay that over, or segue it over to Top Shot, because out of 35,000s, it's going to be very challenging to see those be worth anything. But who says Top Shot wants them to be worth anything? Top Shot wants everybody in the general public to be able to come in and just find a player that they like and be able to pick up a moment for $8 or $9. And well, yes, it's kind of still worthless at $5, $6, $7. Again, it's not about making the money. It's about having a collection. They could use it in a challenge. There's a lot of other factors to it. And it's not the same as, well, that's just a base card in, the physical world. Well, yeah, there's Optic, there's Prism, there's Select, there's Hoops, there's a bunch of trash out there, Don Ross, all these things that you can, I'm not saying that is, just using in general. There's a lot of different brands, but this is not the same. There's only one Top Shot of it. So if you've got that out of 35K, it doesn't, again, I'm not talking about values. I'm not here to play the market and make the most money with this particular moment. I'm saying they want that. They've already said that. They want the ability to come in and just buy a pack for $9 anytime you want, but it's not a free money pack, as people like to call it, where I'm going to hit the lottery on this thing. That's maybe why you're in it right now. But again, that's not what this thing will be long-term. And then just to address a couple of the other things in the chat, might be good talking pieces, but the future and the utility of it all, they've already said there's going to be arenas that you can go into that if you have this moment, you'll get into a certain VIP section because you're the owner of that moment. As far as players owning their own moments, that's already happened. We've seen NBA players hop on and do pack breaks. We saw Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, bust out and say, if you buy my moment for 10,000, which at the time, I believe the moment was going for like 1,000. He said, if you buy my one for 10,000 that he shows as the owner right on the blockchain, it was him, his account that's verified. He'll give you courtside tickets, signed jersey, all these factors. And again, talk about access. That's what it's brought up. So all these people selling these other things, there's going to be a lot. And Gary Vee has said this. I quote him a lot on this stuff, but there's 99% of these NFTs are going to be worthless because there's no community behind them. There's no future utility. There's no reason or any game you could do anything with them. You're just buying them to have them. And it's a money grab for the celebrity or the influencer or the owner. And it's to each their own. Good for them. Go get your money, get your bread, do your thing. That's up to you. If you feel good about that, go down to bed at night and that's good with you, then so be it. And if the collector bought it and wants it, they probably feel good about it too. So no one's really losing in that scenario. But the reason I believe in Top Shot long-term, whether you believe in buying at these prices right now or not, a separate conversation. But the reason I believe in it long-term is because of the factor, the community, how many people love it, how many people are involved with it, how many people are coming back into the sport of basketball. And it'll be there for other sports too. Don't get me wrong, but the community is important to the value of the future for what these things can do. And when Hardcourt, the game, comes out as the example where you're going to be able to do certain things with your moments, even more people will be getting into it. So I'm not worried about it long-term. I'm worried about paying these prices right now for particular moments that I may want. And that kind of goes to what you talked about with some of the off-season stuff and what you think some of these values might be, because will we get another big hike before the playoffs come and then they dip? But, I can't see any world where they don't dip in the offseason because everyone wants instant gratification and it won't be there when the NBA is off for months.
Correct. I mean, I'm with you 100%. Devin, let's roll the screen share because I do want to kind of show a couple of things here, right? And so this is Evaluate Market. Listen, we're not sponsored by Top Shot. We're not sponsored by Evaluate Market. But I kind of want to show you guys what it kind of looks like if you wanted to collect a set, because I know sometimes in the card world, we call it buying the rainbow, right? If we, sometimes we end up with 3, 4, 5, 6 of colors of the Prism Rainbow. And it's like, hey, I've almost got them all. I might as well collect them all, right? Got to catch them all, Pokemon. Anyway, so I wanted to pull this up because if you look, I'm going to start at Series 2 because these are some of the most recent moments that came out. Like right now, if you wanted to collect all the cool cats, that's going to cost you $3,719. And then if you wanted all the All-Star game moments, that's $9,717, which in terms of collecting a whole set of a Top Shot mint that's kind of not, doesn't have a lot of, I guess, let's say minted moments. I think that's pretty good, right? But here's what we're saying. We think this is going to go down. If you want to collect all the base set of Series 2 right now, you're at 13,000. You go over to Series 1. Look at this. Look at the difference. All of Series 1 is $149,585, which shows me at the end of the day, right? And we're just kind of comparing, talking here. Series 1 is still where you want to be right now, right? In terms of what you own, if you want to buy right now, and that's something we were talking about, market trends, I still believe in Series 1 kind of being the granddaddy of them all, and then everything else is kind of a spawn off of that. And that doesn't mean you don't want some of these base Series 2 moments, right? Like there are plenty of base moments that I like. For instance, I've got a Miles Bridges moment. It's one of what I consider the best Airbnb moment, right, of this season, where LaMelo Ball is giving the behind-the-back pass to Miles Bridges, and Miles Bridges goes for the windmill. Guess what? That moment is worth absolutely nothing. But I'm a Hornets fan, and to me, that's one of the biggest highlights they've had all season. So I want the moment, right? If they come out with the LaMelo 360 3-pointer, I want that moment. Why? I'm a Hornets fan. I want this. So I just kind of want to show that off, and you'll kind of see the difference here. Like Series 2, not really competing with Series 1 so much. If you want all of the rising stars, you're at 9,637. The gift, look at this. You can pick up every the gift moment right now for $630. So, I do think there's going to be some value in collecting whole sets at some point, right? And not every whole set, but like Dean talked about liking Cool Cats. Dean, if you've got a whopping $3,719 in that Dapper balance, you can pick up every Cool Cat there is right now. So I think this is really important, because as we've seen the moments decline in value, I feel like we're starting to have more and more opportunities for people that have been in it to buy what they want. Like me personally, I didn't want to spend, $3,500, $4,000 on the LaMelo Rising Stars moment at the time. And luckily it's paid off. And I'm going to pull that up right now because LaMelo only has 2 moments minted. And so if you pull up the LaMelo Ball, and first of all, he's hurt, and I think that contributed a little bit. He's got 2 moments. And let's go. Rising Stars here. If you pull it up right now, look at the market data. Lowest ask is $1,920, where if I'm not mistaken, Tambo, the highest ask was somewhere around $4K a couple weeks ago, right? Am I right on that?
It was definitely up there. Yeah, it was more than 4 at one point, I believe. So
right. So for someone like me, if the prices are going to keep going down, I'm actually going to ride this one out. I'm going to see, and that's the thing when you're trying to find moments that you want. And I think Tambo is a master of this, in my opinion. Find the price point that you want to buy it at, and let's ride the wave and see if it gets there. And then when it gets there, you got to be ready to strike. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I am in Top Shot right now in terms of some of the things I'm going to do. I've identified moments that I want. And as those moments hit the price points, I'm going to go out and buy the moments. And guess what? The moment could go from $1,200 to $1,000. I'm not going to feel bad. I've got the moment that I want. You know what I mean? And so some of these moments, the LeBron, and Tambo's talked about this as well. I think this is super critical. Talked about buying the moment, necessarily maybe not the player, but the moment. The LeBron James 3-pointer, where he shoots it, turns his back. That's a common moment, but I think that's going to be a big one in terms of, some of the big ones. The Kobe tribute dunk, we've talked about that. That one's going down too. That's going to be a huge moment, right? So some of those things that we see, I think that's going to be really big long term, and those are the ones I want to own, right? I'm not buying LaMelo Ball prisms to sell them tomorrow. I'm buying LaMelo Ball prisms to sell them 10, 15 years from now, and maybe buy a couple so I can have one because I want to keep it, but I want to sell it later as it's peaked when he's built the career, right? And I think that's something maybe we're forgetting in the NFT space because we're so reactive. This is still a long-term play, like, for certain things. Now, if I end up with, like, for instance, if I don't like Mike Conley and I ended up with this all-star moment, maybe I want to sell the Mike Conley, right? But for guys that you like, I'm not going out buying Mike Conley rookie cards in Prism or Tops or anything. So why am I going to go and try to buy a bunch of Mike Conley in Top Shot? I don't feel like he's got the same worth as LeBron, as KD, as Harden, as some of these guys that are going to be champions, as Curry. So that's kind of where I am. I totally shifted from where I was in January. Only stars and rookies for me. And hopefully that helps out a couple folks. I'm going to be quiet and hand it back over to Dean and Tambo.
Yeah, so I got a question, Tambo. It's kind of been brought up a couple of times, talking about the process of a lot of people weren't aware of NFTs, myself included. And you hear, and I like sports, and you hear about, well, you get yourself a pack and it's quote unquote guaranteed money. And a lot of people, and then even like some bigger names, bigger influencers, people that are beat writers start tweeting about it, after the players start talking about it. At a certain point, we have a certain percentage of people right now that are only in it because, well, I bought a pack because it's guaranteed money and I'm sitting on my laptop, I'm sitting home anyway. So why not just, take a shot? How do you hold on to those people? How do you hold on to a certain percentage of those people? How many of those people are actually prowling the marketplace as is? I'm sure that's a dilemma that Top Shots has. But once that goes away, inevitably that's going to go away. It's harder and harder to get a pack these days, obviously. And if we do get a pack, it'll probably be like a common pack that's garbage that might not even be a quote unquote guaranteed. You're going to get your $15 back, your $9, whatever it is. How do you keep those people, or you're just not going to be able to?
Or you don't. Yeah, but that's sort of the thing. Do you need those people? Is the better question. Do we want those people? Like I said, I guess for me, like I said, I'm about money, trust me, but I'm about both. And I like collecting. I'm into the NBA. I love all this stuff. I grew up on it. So if you're looking for safety and investment, then that's okay. Then maybe you do two things. One, LeBron is definitely very safe. The no look three is I'm big on the moment matters, because if everyone's worried about supply, which is a common theme out in the marketplace of, there's going to be so many more moments, the supply is going to keep going up. It is. So then if you're really worried about that, again, if it's all about investing to you, then the safety side would be a guy like LeBron. The 3-pointer would be a good moment because he may never do a no look three again in a game. So that's the cool factor of it. And then you've got something you like. So you like LeBron, you're collecting him. As far as investment goes, it's probably pretty safe as well. It's at a 15,000, but it is still a limited edition. And again, going back to those Luka Prism rookies, I believe there's over 15,000 PSA 10s already.
Wow.
He doesn't have any of the accolades or even close to the accolades of LeBron James. This is way less money. And if you think about the long term, again, if you're bullish on it for the long term, it should definitely be worth more than 500. Or whatever it's going. I think it's over 550 right now. But what I'm saying,
540 is the low ask. I already got it pulled, Devin. It's up on the screen right now. 540 is the low ask. Yeah.
Whether or not that's going to be the price that it goes the lowest to, I don't know. But do I still think it's good for long term? Sure. But again, that you have to take that risk at some point. Nobody ever knows when the bottom is. Right. If you predict that perfectly all the time, you'd be a millionaire. That's great. But you still got to decide when it's good for you. And you said it earlier, Will, with the LaMelo, you're glad you didn't pay $4,300, but now you have to decide is $1,950 the right price. So it's just that example of that. But I think the quality of the moment matters the most out of anything. The Zion block, the Luka game-winning 3-pointer, first time in the playoffs doing it. All these factors that add up will be more important. That's why actually, for example, going to the LaMelo, we've had this conversation in the past, but it's tying in again right here, is I know the 3 Badger, and I know we're going to segue into badges anyway here, so it's a good spot. The 3 Badger is fine because it's the extra 1 badge is that it happened in his first game. And that was the assist in his first game. It's barely an assist, if that. It's the worst moment, I think, on the site for a stud player, stud rookie, whatever you want to call it, but it's just part of the deal of what you have to get. And so I get that side of it, but I would much rather pay the same. They're almost the same price right now. I would much rather pick up the Rising Stars. It's rare versus common. It's got it's 2021 versus 4,000. And it's his first triple-double still, which is still huge on the record of, as far as stats go. And it's a way cooler moment. Like the move, the layup, all the stuff that goes with it. It's better than the half-ass assist to Gordon Hayward.
But who knows that's a triple-double? Who else knows? Like you care, but does the general Top Shot community
denoted
care?
In the moment? I think that's important to look at too, is what's denoted in the moment for what it is. Again, that's like, I know people, again, this is where sometimes you got to go away from the physical card space for a minute and say, yes, I know the back of the card normally doesn't mean anything unless it's an error card or something that nobody cares about the numbers or the words on the back of the card. But again, this is now digital. That's the point of digital versus physical. You can get the moment described. Hey, we just have Mike Conley narrate a voiceover. So imagine if that, again, this won't happen for maybe that moment, but my point was you could have those situations almost like a digital signature, digital authorization of LaMelo hopping onto a moment saying, yeah, this is pretty cool because this is my game where I had my first triple-double in the NBA, et cetera, et cetera. You don't know, but as of right now, it's half the count. It's a rare versus a common. It still has 2 badges, and it's a way better moment. So for me, at same price, I'm buying that one. Doesn't mean, again, the time to buy is now. Someone mentioned in the chat earlier, I'll give my last little spiel and rant to go on. Someone said this: would you buy 1.5 boxes of hobby boxes of Prism, NBA Prism dropping, or would you buy the whole Cool Cats set? Right now, I'm being honest. I would buy the 1.5 boxes of Prism. I would flip them for 2 or 3x because that's what you can do out in the market. Use that money to pick up the Cool Cats in the off season when everything dips for the most part.
Oh,
I think
I can't wait.
And you're answering a question. You're taking you're taking a different route. What if you can't flip it?
You can. It's literally that. You want to talk about free money? Get your hands on that, and then
hypothetically,
boxes
you can't
of
flip
Prism.
For whatever reason. Yeah, I'm just saying. I think that's what he's asking, or is that not what he's asking? Which is like a better investment?
Yeah, I'm assuming you can't buy them if you can't buy them. The question is if you could buy either or, which would you spend your money on right now, assuming you could acquire both?
I got
because you can acquire the Seeing Stars or Cool Cats, set and buy the whole set. So it's to each their own. That's what I'm thinking. But go back for a second here. You're at it, Will. The Seeing Stars set. How much is that right now?
Listen, Seeing Stars is $29.86 right now.
Okay,
for the whole set. The whole set.
This has been brought up in the Top Shot Discord by Jacob Eisenberg about it possibly being, they hinted at this, being important in the future. So who knows what that actually means, but if they say, let's say whoever has the full Seeing Stars set, that could be something. And that's where I do kind of like that they throw a few curveballs at you from a collector's standpoint, not just making money, but collectors. Like I saw already, they mentioned, maybe needing to have a set of some challenge completed, to be able to maybe be in on legendary or holo packs instead of just letting the outside public just hop in for the quote unquote free money. So I do like those little curveballs of it, but at the same time, you still have to gauge if the time is now. And if you don't have the $3,000 to spend, then obviously that's off the table anyway. But that's where I do like that they throw those little curveballs at you.
Is that an implication of a potential master challenge as well? Like I've heard.
That's what I mean. You don't know. And that's sort of the fun behind it, because I can tell you one thing we do know is the day that they announce it, if they do, that price is going up because everyone's running out to buy it that didn't have it. So you will see a spike at that point.
So are the prices cheap enough right now where you think it's worth risk versus reward to take a shot and just buy the whole set?
I'm personally not. And I have to cut Will off. I'll let him go ahead and his thought in a minute. But like I said, I think we could see a mini spike here for the playoffs, just because sort of everything. And who knows, they acquired the main marketing guy from the NFL, brought him over. They just had guys investing like Michael Jordan. These are going to bring things, but all these things can be good things and happen in this market. And it doesn't mean your portfolio is doubling. That's what people need to start remembering, right? Or at least not overnight. Things can go down before they go back up. But if you look at the long-term perspective, for me, I'm extremely bullish on that factor, but that doesn't mean I have to go buy everything right now. If I am an investor as well and truly believe that my better time to put my money in is in the off season, because I think there will be other NFTs that come out. I think everyone wants instant gratification. I think more people go after. I'm not sponsored by Top Shot. I don't have to sit here and talk great things about them and pretend like I love everything about them. There's a lot they need to do better at, and they're working at it. That's the good news and why I believe in them still. But I still also believe me and my money, if I'm parting with it, I want to do it for the right reasons, and I want to do it at the time I feel comfortable. I believe personally that there's going to be a better time to sink my money in. So I personally right now have a lot of Dapper that I'm sitting on. And then I have some good moments. I've got the Durant three-pointer in Brooklyn. I've got the Anthony Edwards dunk number 123, which is his jersey number, and LeBron's jersey number for the serial numbers, and Michael Jordan's number, if you will, for the serial number junkies out there. So I bought some good moments and sunk my money in at the times I feel comfortable with it and getting things I want. But I've also sold things at times for more than they're worth now to sit on that Dapper to wait for the next chance to invest. I have not withdrawn a single dollar, and I'm Canadian. And right now they don't even have the easy access to a Canadian bank. You got to go through crypto and all these other avenues that I just don't want to do. So I have not taken a single dollar off a Top Shot. I can tell you that.
Well, I want you to jump in here, give your thoughts on that. I also like the LaMelo thing. You're talking about that, how his prices dropped, and he's done for the year. There's going to be an off season. We're not going to see him do anything positive on a basketball court for, I don't know, like 8 months. That price probably still dropped. There's probably still some more room to drop on it. It's basically what I'm hinting at.
Listen,
despite the fact it's already dropped.
Look, if you're patient, we already know how this works. Like, look, I'm not going to compare everything to cardboard, but here's the reality. There's no secret here, folks. There's no secret sauce. When the NBA season is over, when whoever wins the championship takes home the trophy and the confetti's falling, and everybody on ESPN and Fox and CBS and NBC Sports have talked for a week about how great the championship was, there's going to be another major dip in these prices. How do I know this? It doesn't even matter that Patrick Mahomes made it to a Super Bowl. If you looked at the prices in February, they were already dropping. We knew this. They got up. I mean, we were seeing astronomical prices on Mahomes. 4,000, 5,000. I saw some 10, 12. I mean, his prices were going up. And then when the Super Bowl is over, Brady has his spike for a minute. Mahomes has his dip. And then it levels out February, March, April. And now we're back down to where you can pick up, I think, the Mahomes optic for around anywhere from 25 to 2,800, roughly, for a PSA 10. And that's what I think we see here. So while it, and I think next season, what I'm going to realize, Tambo, and this is something I had to make an adjustment on the fly because I missed out on some opportunities, because me and you talking in Slack a lot about these things. I missed the opportunity to literally sell every moment I have that I wanted, and I could have bought it back right now and still been profitable.
Yes,
and that's something that I think is actually even more valuable and insightful than anything else. And look, we don't know when moments are going to necessarily go up, down per se. But what I can say is I think that's something I'm going to be into long term, finding moments that I like early, sell during the spike, and buy it back if I really want it during the dip. That's something I'm going to look at. I'm not saying I'm going to do it on every moment, but I've got so many of the Series 2 just base rookie moments that in my head, I said, oh, badges are coming out. We talked about badges. And I thought maybe the price increases a little bit. But what ended up happening, we had more of a pre-run. It ran up prior to the badge. I mean, I've got the Anthony Edwards, and I love that moment, by the way. It was sitting there in the 200s. And I remember I hit Tambo up. I said, Tambo, we're already in the 200s. I may need to sell this now. But I was like, no, in my mind, and this is where I made a mistake. I'm not afraid to tell you that. I said, well, when the badge comes out, maybe it runs a little bit more, and then I'll sell it and buy it back. Well, unfortunately, it was a pre-run, and it never increased, and the badges came out, and it just started going down. So that's something I'm going to look at long term. That's definitely a mistake I made, kind of sat on some of those moments a little bit too long. But I want you to hear what I'm saying. The first thing you got to see is I just realized a profit opportunity. I still want the moments. I still want the moments. I just realized I missed an opportunity to be profitable in the moment I already wanted. So that's kind of where I am with that. Tambo, back over to you, and then we'll close this thing out.
Yeah, a few things that you just said, definitely, the ability to know when to sell. So, nobody knows. And that's the point. And I guess it's one of the takeaways that people could have had is were you waiting for 20X? Were you waiting for 30X? Like everyone, we could have all sold when it was 10X and just been comfortable with it. And you brought up the Mahomes because we actually had that conversation on this very show. When I did it with the optic last season, I think one of the biggest things is being able to give up some of the potential profit or some of the possible lift that you could see further to still take it out and make money. So I had bought it at 1,200 last year, and this stuff can all be tracked. And that's why I love NFTs and the blockchain and everything, because it can be tracked even further. I'll tell you a quick story in a second about the Anthony Edwards moment, but with the Mahomes, I was willing to sell it 2 weeks before the Super Bowl when the hype was there that he could win another one, knowing that if he did win the Super Bowl, it might have spiked another $300-400. But if I do take the money, then it's probably the same or worse after. So why not? Then I'm still way up. I sold it for like 3,000 versus the 1,200 that I paid. So that's why it was an example of the same thing in Top Shot. Maybe it did go a little bit higher, but some of this stuff you can always know at least something. It just can't go forever, right? That's sort of the idea, right? That you got to know. So even when you're doing that now, like I did sell some stuff off before all these challenges, because my thought process was all these challenges are going to end. All these pack drops are going to happen. We've seen those lead to sell-offs. So I was even willing to take some $1,000 losses. Again, I made the money from original buys that I was profitable on. But if I bought something for 8 and sold it off for 7, it's now down at 4 or 5. So guess how I can get it back? I can buy it at 4. It can go back to 5 or 6. And now I made it back on this buy. Yeah. So I was willing to do that. And the Anthony Edwards was a great example. I had all the moments leading up to get it in a challenge and go for the serial number lottery. LaMelo got injured. The count went from like 400 to 600-700 overnight because now people started seeing Edwards could be the rookie of the year here. So what I did is on that run up, again, the hype is always where people are selling. You got to sell during the hype, not when it happens. That's the keynote. And I sold all those for like 8,600. I sold all the moments off that I paid like 6 or 7 for, because now I said, I'll just buy it in the dip when the moment actually comes out and forget the serial number lottery. I got out at 86. It went to about 9 or 92 at this point. So again, I was willing to take a short-term dip there to skip the serial number lottery, but then I got back in. I got one right out of the gate that someone fire sailed out for like $2,500. I sold it for 2,800 or 2,900. I made 300 profit. And then I counted that in my head as Anthony Edwards profit, just the way I think about things.
Yeah.
And then I bought the number 1, 2, 3 for a pretty good deal. And I looked at it like the price I paid, I think was 3,600. That's like getting it for 3,300 in my mind, because I was playing with Anthony Edwards profit. And now the moment's going for around 28, 2,900, but I'm happy with what I got. I like the moment and I like the 1, 2, 3. So it's to each their own, but just to tell you a way of you can do certain things and still try and protect some of your investment. Well, get something that you like. And guess what? It'll probably go way less. I said it when I bought it. I didn't feel great paying that price for it, but I got what I wanted and I'm comfortable with that one and sitting on it because it's one of the best moments on the site, in my opinion. I think moment matters, and he's a great young rookie.
Let me hop in here on that one, D, because Tambo, I think you said something really important. That was a serial number buy. So that's what I want people to understand. You didn't just buy it. Like, that was a serial number buy. You got the 1, 2, 3. And so I think that was crucial. I'm going to say my last little thoughts to Dean, and then you can close us out and share whatever you want. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Dean is a Top Shot aficionado as well. I think he did open his packs. He doesn't have packs laying around anymore. Well, unless he got a pre-order pack, which we should all have. Last point, Tambo, for me, and we'll close it out. And then in 2 weeks, folks, we're going to have a member of Club Top Shot with us. CSU Ram, in case you guys don't know, that's Pete out in Colorado. He will be with us for the next Top Shot show. So you definitely want to come back, hang out with Pete, see what he has to say. He definitely bought a few moments up front, when this thing kind of really started popping off. But here's a mistake I made, and I'll close it out. I always figured I should have bought 2 of all of these moments, because that's in my mind with cardboard. That's kind of what I do. If I really like the card, I buy 2 of them. And then that way, if it goes on a good run, I still feel good about the one I have. I don't have to worry about have that, the FOMO, fear of missing out. So from here on out, I'm probably going to start buying 2 or 3 of these rookie moments, because they're so cheap. I can get 3 or 4 Anthony Edwards for what I paid for 1. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm going to start doing now. And, maybe even see if I can get me some serial numbers up in like the high hundreds, and I think I just think that's something I'm going to do to close it out. And that way, if it goes on a good run again, like me and Tambo talked about, just tiering it. Sell one at 50, sell one at 100, sell one at 150, and kind of let it ride from there. So, Dean, I am done. We'll let you close us out, my friend.
I just had a question. The 1, 2, 3 thing, is that for anybody? Like 1, 2, 3 is popular, Tambo, or is it because you're doing the math of like, well, Edwards is 1 and LeBron is 23, and is that are you trying to make, is that a thing? You're trying to make that a thing? I'm not trying to knock the value of your 1, 2, 3.
No, good question. Good point. And so I actually didn't go hunting for 1, 2, 3. I spoke about it in our RG Slack. I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the advantage I got I got lucky to get one of the fire sale first off sold for like 2,500 that I wanted to go flip it right away, because I thought it would get back. And, our guys thought maybe it would get to 3,500, which it did for a period. And I, again, sold too soon, but I took the chance to then. But what I wanted to do was serial up. And if I was trying to get into the hundreds or into the 2 digits if I could. And when I saw that, that's just the novelty factor. I actually wasn't even, it was someone else again in our Slack, Napster man said, hey, you got Edwards plus that. Jordan / LJ, like LBJ, you got that mix if you want to think of it that way. But I didn't think of it that way at all. I was just trying to level up into the hundreds, because I think this is just one thing I've thought of more over time with the rares. I do feel like what's going to matter more than anything is not the serial number. I've already bashed that in the past. I'm saying that if people are looking at it as like, okay, a PSA 10 of the 299 moment might be 0 or 1 to 30 or 1 to 29, because that's in the upper 10 percentile of said moment. Now, it doesn't mean a 288 is going to be worthless. It's still the way to get entry level into the moment. And you still are one of only 299 people in the world with it. This one was whatever it is, 1,040 or something is the number. But I just wanted to get into the hundreds. And when I saw 1, 2, 3 sitting there, it actually just happened to be the lowest one. And then the novelty factor of like 69, 123, 420, all the jokes that go around within the community of, the world jokes that we're talking about here, that, people know these numbers. That was just an added bonus. I didn't hunt 1, 2, 3. That was just kind of funny putting it together after. And I just sort of make fun of some of the serial number junkies. I said, there's $1 million idea or multi-million-dollar idea out there for Top Shot. is to sell a revenue stream, because if they did it for free, everyone would put stupid stuff. But if they let you put a little comment by your serial number, just a short amount of characters of what, and you had to buy in to be able to explain your serial number, why you're worth more than the guys around you. I think people might do something like that. It could be $5, $50, 10, whatever, but people would do it just to try and explain why they picked up their serial number. Basketball player, this guy's birthday. I've seen people buy, I've seen some crazy stuff and heard some even crazier things. So, for me, that's why I was getting into the 1, 2, 3, just because it was the best 100 that I could buy. I
think that's a great idea. I think that's really good. I don't know. Have you emailed the support and let them know?
No, because they ain't gonna give me no kickback, Dean.
Yeah, I don't. Well, now you have no leverage. You realize this is being recorded. It's just not the two of us talking.
They can have it, man. If that's gonna make them rich, then good for them. I like the idea. I'll use it and post some crazy stuff about mine. I'll try and sell it based on that, and make my money that way.
This is on the YouTube. Hey, YouTube, what's up? We talked about you guys throughout the show. We appreciate the chatter, we appreciate the comments, the like, the surprise. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We should also mention, this, Will, the Slack or the Discord channel, right? Of course, if you guys are RotoGrinders members, there are premium channels and there are non-premium channels. I believe the Top Shot channel is non-premium.
Yeah, Sports Card and Top Shot are not premium. So hop in there, have some fun.
There you go. We'll go ahead and maybe Devin, our producer, will go ahead and drop that link in chat, or we'll drop it in the, the description there on YouTube as well. But we do have to step aside because Tambo's got to talk. He's got to talk golf. He's
Masters week.
Are we excited about the Masters? Jim, you don't want to give it a winner just yet, do you? It's too early.
Yeah,
a little too early for that. We're going to be talking about it next, and it's free as well. Myself, Cards, Noto. It's going to be a great show. Cards is coming off a big week. He didn't waste all the magic beans. He's going to have himself a big week here, but we're all going to try to, and we've all got some good takeaways. So it'll be a fun show. Definitely tune into that one next.
There you go. Yeah, if you guys are watching us live right now on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, and don't go anywhere, because I think in about 12 minutes, give or take, they're going to be talking Masters. That said, we got to go. We got to step aside. We do appreciate you guys supporting the show. Next week, it will be cardboard, as Will likes to say. That said, we got to go. Appreciate you guys watching. That was Will. That was Tambo. This was Top Shots. I was Dean. Thanks for watching. We're out of here. Holler.